I recently gave a talk on accessing your value, and I'm sharing it here, so take a listen and see if any of it makes sense for you. There's three things that go into accessing your value, and the three words kind of talk about the three aspects. So there's the word you, right? Who you are, what you want to be, what you're striving to accomplish, right? There's value, which is what is it that you're trying to actually connect to, and then accessing is connecting you to the value. So we're going to talk about like all of those three things in a little bit more detail, and hopefully at the end of this you'll understand how to access your own value. And to start the conversation, I want to talk about what is money. And I feel like a lot of us we use it all the time, so it's not like we don't know what money is. But on a more philosophical or tangible level, money is a utility or a tool that we use to standardize the way that we capture value so that we can exchange things that are meaningful to us. So when we talk about like buying food or buying a phone or buying anything, the reason we can do that is because we have a unit of measure that we can say that my time or energy is translatable in this form to acquire this product or this service. And once we understand that money is about storing and transacting value, we can talk about the two aspects of finances, which is net worth and income. And I want to talk about, I'm going to use analogies and metaphors, but I'm a strong believer in that analogies and metaphors only go so far. So when I talk about these, like there's a point where it's going to break down, but stick with me as long as you can. And if we look at the pictures here, right, there's kind of two aspects, right? You can either be a farmer or a seller, right? When you're a farmer, you own land, and the land itself has value. It's like it's a physical object, or it's like a real tangible thing that you can assign a value to. You can see it, you can feel it, you can have it, right? The land itself produces, you can use it to produce more crops and stuff, so it generates more value on top of the intrinsic value that it has. And then if you think about a seller, right, of like produce in this case, or agriculture, you're buying produce at a certain rate and then you're selling it at a different rate. So you don't really have any value of what you're doing, it's just the transaction of buying and selling and the premium that you charge for the service that you're providing creates the value. So there's the two different aspects of it, and when you have a net worth or you have income, what happens? There's the idea of the power of wealth that you get because of these things that you now have. And as another analogy, if you think about the ocean or a large body of water as net worth, it's like the ocean's always going to be there, right? It might go up and down based on the moon cycles, the tides, and it might have waves that gives it an illusion as if it's like increasing or decreasing, but you know that you can always rely on the ocean to be there. So think of net worth in that way. It's a reserve, it's there, it's a inherent substance that you can rely on in case you need it. And then if you think more about like a river or waterfall, right, what categorizes a river or waterfall is not the water itself, but the movement of the water. So because the water is flowing, you can say there's a river or there's a waterfall. If it doesn't move, there's no such thing as a river or waterfall. So in the same way, if income is not, for income to happen, you have to have money moving. If money's not moving, you have no income. And income is like a skill in the sense that it helps you to shape and recreate your life in the same way that a river can cut through land and shape it into something different. You can use your income to shape your life and to shape your net worth into something that's more valuable. So now that we understand kind of the concept of net worth and income and the power that it gives you, how do you create it? So the main thing is by defining goals and using those goals to assess your understanding of net worth and income. And there's 5 things I'll talk about when you're trying to define a goal. The first one is knowledge. So essentially, knowledge is wealth, right? The more you know, the more you can make happen in your life. And the thing is, like, we all have different learning abilities, so not everyone needs to know everything, and I feel like everyone tries to know as much as possible, and that's a great aspiration to have. But at the end of the day, trying to be realistic in what you want to learn to be able to achieve your goal is going to help you understand what you should actually spend your time learning. So just assess what knowledge of what learning ability you have and the knowledge that you can learn with the ability that you have. The second aspect of defining goals is energy, and I feel like this is a very underrated category when people think about life and stuff. So there's a quote, I forgot to pull the source. I don't know if it's a real source, if it's just something that's evolved over time, but the quote goes, "Money is a form of energy exchange where when we hoard it, we stagnate the flow, and when we give it freely, it invites abundance into our life." So it's more about, by being generous, you're able to facilitate more value. And the value is across the board for other people and for yourself as well. And since it's an energy exchange, that's right, as much energy as you put into something is the value that you're gonna get out of it. So if you're like lazing around and not really doing much, you're not gonna see a lot of value in life. But if you're active and you're actually taking action to do stuff, then you'll see more value that you're creating. And going hand in hand with energy is time, and I feel like our society is very much focused on time. So we all know we have a limited amount of time on Earth, and how we use that time is very important. So being realistic about what time you want to devote to something is important to defining how achievable a goal is. So like when you're going to school, for example, and you have a 4-year degree that you're trying to pursue, you're essentially saying these 4 years are worth this time dedication in order to achieve something later on. If that value, the time value exchange is not, doesn't have the thing that you're trying to achieve, I lost the train of thought, but if it's not meaningful, if that time exchange is not meaningful to you, then you should not pursue going to a 4-year degree or something like that. And then in the same way in this business, as much time as you put into this, you will see the benefit from it as well. And I think the fourth one I'm on is people. So when you're defining a goal of like, this is what I want to achieve, or this is where I want to be, a critical aspect of that is understanding what company you're going to have and what company you want to keep. So when when you are around people that make you a better person, that's the goal you should probably strive to be. You shouldn't put yourself in environments and situations where you're around people who aren't sharing your beliefs and aren't like helping you be a better person. So with all of these 4 things in mind, the last step of defining a goal is actually manifesting your physical dreams or desires. And essentially what this looks like is what is it that you want to happen and how does it look like? If you're able to visualize it, you're able to make it happen. So hopefully that kind of gives you an understanding of like how to define what you're trying to work towards. And once you define that, it makes it easier to understand how money operates in that setting. So to kind of come back to the concept of money and like what makes money valuable, there's a quote that I'm kind of repurposing from the way that Trevor Noah described it in his podcast. He says that money gives us access. And I'm gonna add on to that, money gives us access to the things that we value most. So if we don't value something, the access that money gives us is meaningless. And I have like a less favorable position on money in the sense that I really don't care about money, but but I'm here in front of you sharing these concepts, and I understand the value of the education about how money works and how money management can give you a better life. So the whole thing is about figuring out what you value, understanding how money works for you, and then aligning your goals of your value and how money works. So like for me personally, instead of like thinking money has value, I think people and energy have value. So what I do is I look to increase my my money position in order to free up my time and my energy to work with the people that are meaningful to me, and that includes all of the people here. That's why I'm here.
Thank you.
So,
Don't take me off the bus.
Especially your
yes, my great leader Patrick and Jessica, they're amazing. But so coming back, I could spend hours on this topic of time versus energy. I believe energy is more powerful than time, but I want to give you a tidbit to take with you. So time is constant, right? We only have a certain amount of it here on Earth. And if you do nothing, time will move on. If you do something, time will also move on. So when people say they're doing time management, it's really an illusion. They don't control time, time is just going. What they control is the energy that they spend in that time. So time management is actually energy management, just disguised in a different form. And I think it's important for people to understand, if you are active in your life, time will work for you. If you're not active in your life, time will not work for you. So with that in mind, I'm gonna kind of switch gears a little bit and talk more about finances and the pendulum that you kind of have to operate with, of going up and down, positive and negative, gains and losses. So there's only three things that are really critical for the foundation of finance, and that's understanding gains, losses, and no changes. So when there's an increase in value, there's a gain. When there's a decrease in value, there's a loss. And when there's no change in value, there's like a neutral, like nothing's different, it's the same amount. And every type of account, every type of financial product, you can, if you understand these three components or these three aspects of that product, you're able to understand how to interact with it. So to give an example, let's talk about savings accounts. It might seem really simple, but even the most complicated financial product is following this same structure, which is you have you have a savings account, right? So your gains that that kind of go into it are the deposits that you make in to increase the value, and the interest that you earn on that value. And then in terms of losses or decreases in value, if you take money out of the savings account, the value decreases. There might be account fees. Most accounts luckily don't have as many fees nowadays, but you might have to pay that. The only thing you can avoid is taxes on savings account. So when you have this idea of how much is going in, how much is coming out, and what it is, the value in the middle, it gives you a way of understanding what is the real value that the savings account has, and it gives you a way of understanding, comparing it to other products. So for example, an IRA, you can understand, what are the things that increase the value of an IRA versus what of the things that decrease an IRA, and then what is the value that the IRA actually has. And I know Andy's gonna follow me maybe with an IRA type of presentation. It was on the flyer, I'm just going with that. Going forward, because we understand now what value money has and kind of how we're going to achieve that value, we have to understand the risks of that might affect that value in the future. So there's 4 types of risks in general, and the concept of risk management is super big. Every field in the industry has a risk management aspect to it, whether it's technology and cybersecurity, whether it's finance, whether it's healthcare, whether it's education. The risk of education is kids don't learn, and then we get a lower knowledge base in the future. Like kids in the future don't have as much experience as they might have otherwise. So in terms of finance, there's these four categories that I think are pretty robust in understanding how it affects your value of money. And the first one is inflation, and there's market and tax and health. And to help understand this a little bit more, I'm going to actually go to the next slide, which we talk about the X curve, which is a very popular concept here that we talk about. And the general idea is that when you're younger, you have less money and you're trying to build wealth, and you have a lot of responsibilities. You're trying to understand what to do with your life. You're starting a family. You're taking car loans. You're getting house mortgages. You have a lot of responsibility. And as you get older, arguably you pay off your house. You don't really drive as much, but even if you drive, like your car is paid off and everything. And your kids are old enough that they can take care of themselves. Hopefully they'll take care of you, like I plan to do with my parents, but we'll see how society works in that sense.
Hopeful thinking.
Yeah, wishful thinking, yeah.
Wishful thinking.
Take care of your upline first.
We're all family together, so. So if we overlay the four types of risks, it's generally, you have them at all times at different distributions, but the most impact of the risks are when you're younger, inflation takes the most out of you because you have less money and your money buys less things. So if you don't save your money enough in the future, the inflation in the future, if you don't save your money now, the inflation in the future is only going to decrease the value of your money in general. So the biggest thing to do is save as much as you can now so that the money is worth in the future is worth more. The second one is market risk. So as we get a little bit of wealth, we're looking to grow that wealth and invest it in products that will create value from value, right? But the market is very volatile. There's so many different things out there. There's crypto, there's real estate, there's stocks, there's bonds, there's so many types of different investments, and understanding that risk and how to mitigate it will help you know where to put your money and the distribution of how much risk you can take on versus how much risk you want to give off to others. And when you sell risk off, there's a cost to it, but you're getting the peace of mind of not having to manage that risk yourself. So just keep that in mind. When you're not a risky person, you're paying for peace of mind. And that's a trade-off that you either decide because you can't handle the risk or because of other circumstances in your life. And then the third one on this is tax. And obviously tax is a big thing. Like, what's the saying? There's only two things that are certain in life, death and taxes. And I know everyone sees the amount of tax that they pay on a daily basis, but more annually basis. So everything we buy, we pay tax. Every dollar we earn, we pay tax. So understanding how to pay less taxes is gonna help you build your wealth faster and save for the future as well. And then the last risk is health. So as we know, like every day on this earth is not guaranteed, and understanding your health situation and being able to manage your lifestyle will lead you to make different choices financially to support your healthcare needs at that point. So that's pretty much risk management. It could go into more detail as well, but we'll keep it high level for right now. And just to give the blue diagram in the background, the X curve was taken from that LinkedIn post. So if you ever want to look at it, it's there as well. So where does it leave all of us, right? And when we talk about everything we just talked about, we understand that money has, it stores value that we want to either transfer between other people or save for the future. And how do we define that value? We understand who we want to be, what we're working towards, and how to categorize the goals that will achieve those value propositions. We've talked a little bit about time and energy management and what it is in terms of how much time you can spend and how you use that time effectively. the foundations of finance in terms of the positive and negative aspects of products, and understanding the big picture of having a framework to compare different products and different services, and then preserving that value so that you don't have to worry about the risk of losing that value, because presumably you're valuing something that's really important to you. So if you don't want to lose that value, you have to protect it. So there's some questions to ask you about as you move forward, what you should do. I'll just read them off in case, just so everyone knows them a little bit. But so what does money give me access to, and what do I want to do with it? Can I use it when I need it for what I need it for? This is a very important thing. So a lot of times people have a financial product that restricts when they can use their money, and not having that freedom essentially means you don't have the value that you think you have. So important concept. Is it safe? Will it be what I expect it to be when I use it, and will it lose value? So that's talking about the inflation risk and not losing value in general. Can it grow so I can free up my mental and physical pressure, and does it need to grow? So a lot of people, like when you think about past millionaires to multimillionaires and billionaires, they don't need that much money. Honestly, if we want to be real with each other, like you really don't need more than a few $1,000,000 that can generate income for you. The whole point is that either people are greedy, or that they have different needs and wants. So like the things that they desire cause them to want to aspire to that much wealth. But realistically, on a general level, most of us don't need that much. So when we have enough, we have to understand what is enough for us, and so that we don't have to think about keep doing the rat race of like trying to increase value. It's always great if you could earn more, but like at a certain point you can know that you're comfortable and that you don't have to continue pushing yourself and adding that mental and physical pressure on your body to get to a point that might not even be worth it to you. So assessing what's worth it to you and knowing when to stop is important. And then the last thing, are there any taxes owed on this money, and will there be taxes imposed when using in the future? So a lot of people get retirement accounts, traditional retirement accounts, and then they get a huge tax bill when they have like $1 million in a 401k or a IRA. So understanding different products that you don't have to do that. So if you have a Roth IRA or a Roth 401k, it'll be a lot better. And then there's also other tax-free products like FFIULs and just IULs in general that money grows tax-free and you can withdraw it tax-free as well. So that's pretty much it. If there's any questions, I can take them, but I hope that gave you a little bit of insight into like what value is and how you can access it and define it for you. Thank you, everyone.
Quick question, can we ask?
Yeah.
So this is a very impressive presentation, I have to say. From the finance point of view, you very nicely bring the time value money together in a very layman language so people understand. So Nicholas, can you share with us some of your thought process when you're composing this information? What was the thought behind, and what made you to feel that the WMG platform is so invaluable that you are very passionate to see the platform, that how you use this platform, not only enhancing your own money, but now you are sharing at the stage to empower other people, especially young people like yourself. So what was the thought behind, and how you put them, oh, maybe I do this, maybe you can put some thoughts, share that thoughts with us, would you?
Yeah, of course. I feel like you asked many questions in that one question, but to go in the first part of like what was my thought process in building this presentation, the whole point of life is that, and knowledge and education is that education is supposed to be what's empowering thing, in the sense that education is supposed to help you make a better life for yourself. And the thing is that people generally like to put barriers to every education. So like they either charge for a certain course that they're offering, or they explain things in such complicated ways that it's not really learning anything. So the whole point is making, just like I like to make technology available to people, it's making finance concepts available to people so that they can use it on their own terms. So building that a capability and letting people build it for themselves as well is important to me. So that's what kind of like went into creating this. In terms of like the platform in general though, WFG is a great platform because when I got started here, right, yes, there's like $125 like membership fee at the beginning, but that really doesn't quantify the actual value that you're getting from this platform and just the amount of presentations that are available in this way. Anyone can come and listen to us talk right now and gain insight into managing their own finances. And when you get truly involved in the business and you understand financial products and services, then you can actually use those services to improve your life. And I feel like this is a great platform because in terms of the products and services that we offer, we don't actually charge people money. We earn commission based off of insurance companies that are just financial companies that are giving us the ability to sell their products. So it's a very equitable environment in the sense that we don't ask much from people coming in, and we give people a lot more than they need to provide us starting off. So.
Well said. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Nicholas. I'm very thankful for this question. Just like what you said, right? Energy, time, and of course, plus the money. So same thing like there's a subliminal message that you put it in, because sometimes really when you come here to the business, a lot of us that they say like kind of, oh, I'm making money out of the clientele. You just said it earlier.
Yeah.
But it's just gonna be just a byproduct. Our energy and time by helping people, money will just come in naturally. So we don't even have to think that we are making money out of the clientele that we've been helping.
Yeah.
That's all. Thank you. Very positive.
Thank you, Patrick. So let's fly high together, guys. We got this.
One question. What made you choose these two pictures?
We're in Florida. We
Are you to Hawaii?
no. We're in Florida. We got palm trees.
Better than Hawaii.
And
And then he wants to fly.
yeah, and I have my pilot license, so it's like gazing over. Once you have knowledge and finance management down packed, you're soaring. So soar together with us.
Let's go. Let's go.
Hey, so I hope you enjoyed my presentation and learned some stuff from it. If you want to learn more, you can check out my blog post where I discuss some of these concepts in a little bit more detail. And I encourage you to reach out to me. I'm always available for open conversation. And everyone's energy doesn't always work together, but I try to meet people halfway. So if you're interested in learning to better yourself and to better those around you, I'm here to help you. So looking forward. See you.